another episode of the Soothing Semantics podcast. I am your host, Rafi Pinsky. As always, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments, and for all of your South Florida real estate needs, I would be enthralled to help you buy, sell, rent, invest. Get in contact. Today we have a very silly yid, a funny Jew. Jewboi is in the building. He's in my abode, and we are going to get Hamish today. We are going to get Hebrew, Yiddish. We're going to talk shop. We're going to talk anti-Semitism. We're going to talk Chabad. If you can't make the ch sound, I don't care, to be honest with you. So that's too bad. It's a great sound. I think it's a great sound.
It's a wonderful sound. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm really excited.
So I'm so happy to have you, man. So Tzvi runs a very hilarious channel on. He's on Instagram, TikTok. You're on Twitter as well, right?
Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Snapchat, every social media platform.
And he had some videos, many videos that went viral, and they were essentially videos that snap back. He punched back at the classic anti-Semitic tropes, the 109 countries, the promised me 3,000 years ago, all these classic jokes.
It was, though. No,
Yeah.
like it definitely was promised to me, you know. It's not even, it's the promised land at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's something we have to say.
Sure.
I think people enjoy it though. They kind of they hate you, but at the same time they think it's hilarious.
A lot of, in general, Jews on Instagram, I've noticed that a lot of times when they first start posting, you'll get the Nazis and they'll say their stuff to the Jews, and for a new Jew on Instagram, it's hard to go through. But once you sort of break through that and become more of a regular character on the Instagram landscape, then I personally noticed that the Nazis start to ease up on you more as you show that you're like a normal person, like a human. Like, hey guys, I'm like a normal guy. I post stuff, brain rot videos, and they're like, damn, I really want to hate this guy,
but I want to hang out with him.
But, yeah, it was a slow shift, but thankfully now it's actually relatively positive when you compare it to other Jewish comment sections. Yeah,
it's funny. It's hilarious. I have to look at the comments in your videos more, but it's because you know what it is. I thought this even as a kid. A lot of the time, Jewish communities, especially the more religious ones, can be very insular.
Yeah.
They can really be insular, and they don't really interact so much with non-Jewish crowds, maybe outside of a work environment.
Right.
And so a lot of the time, the non-Jewish communities are like, what's up with these people? They got the curls, they look different, they're doing their own thing. And they kind of see us as like these aliens.
Like these robots almost.
They do. We're all dressed the same. Yeah. We're all just quickly, especially the Hasidim, they're always like quickly going somewhere. Oh my God,
they're going somewhere, but you never see them working, but they're doing something.
My wife's going to kill me. I better get home.
But actually, because when I was younger and I had a similar look sort of to what you're saying right now, where Jews are just sort of supposed to almost be robots. Yeah. Meanwhile, I was like 9 or 10 years old. I'm watching YouTube because I don't know, I just had access to those things and I wanted to be a YouTuber. But no, but you're like a Chabad religious guy. What do you mean you want to be a YouTuber? Like that's, you have your friends and they have like a little channel for like a few months, blah, 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 but no one's actually going to do that, for like a living. Then a bunch of years later, I was like, no, I actually like really want to do this. Everyone quits and I'm somehow still going.
Yeah.
And everyone, first they clown on you and whatever, Chol Hashem, and make Jews look bad. And then eventually it sort of flips the script. And they're like, well, maybe there might actually be something positive coming from this.
So what do you think? So give me a little bit of the background of when you first started out.
Right.
And how all the people kind of shit talked you and thought it was dumb. And to where you are now, kind of give us a little more of a deep
dive. I mean, I just consumed social media growing up fully. I mean, I had like my hours that I was allowed to watch, all the social medias.
Consume social media.
I was watching YouTubers. I was watching gaming YouTubers.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking. Okay.
Like play video games. I mean, and I wanted to be like a gamer YouTuber. And when I was 9, I started my first channel. I threw it away, whatever. And this is what was really interesting. So during my first year of yeshiva, I I would go home during the day to do online high school because our yeshiva didn't have English studies, but my parents wanted me to get, my high school diploma.
Mhm.
And after I would finish those high school hours, I would have extra time. And I told my parents, yo, I want to, because I was really good at gaming. And I said, I want to be like a gaming YouTuber. They're like, what are you talking about? And I sat them down for about 6 hours on a Friday night during like Shabbat dinner. And I told them exactly, no, it will trust you, like, you do this, it gets views, and eventually you could also monetize it. And I did it during yeshiva, really like religious yeshiva. I felt like I was living like that Hannah Montana double life, where literally I was going to yeshiva and learning, and I was in it, and I was like, I was a good student, like I learned and everything. Then at nighttime, I was putting on my headset and gaming with these people and like cursing and then uploading it to YouTube. And I grew that to around 10,000 subscribers. And I didn't show my face or anything. This was completely anonymous. And
That really is hilarious.
no one knows that. That's the first time I've ever mentioned that. Yeah.
Wait, first time you ever mentioned that here?
I've never I don't think I've ever mentioned that previous like YouTube channel before I even showed my face. This is before Jewboi was even a thing. Yeah, this was like another alias. I don't even say the name because I don't want people to find it. Find it, whatever.
I gotta see this.
So I did like, yeah, gaming videos on there. And then eventually during COVID, at the end of yeshiva,
That's why you were such a good student, because you could just drop those F-bombs like they dropped the bombs on Nagasaki, and you're just like, fuck
man,
Rebbe.
yeah, thankfully they didn't know any of that. None of my Rebbe's knew what was going on. Now they do. It's hilarious. We'll get to that. And then during COVID, I was like, screw it. Like this, my channel wasn't really going anywhere. And I wanted to be more of a personality, show my face. But I'm this Jewish guy. I'm fully religious. There was no Judaism at all on that channel. It was completely anonymous. And I said, screw it. And I heard of this app called TikTok. People going viral really easily on there. And I downloaded TikTok during quarantine around April 2020. And I was like posting, with my face and everything under the name Jewboi, because I just thought it sounded cool. It was like Jew and boy. I didn't know that it could technically be a slur.
With an OI, by the way.
With an OI, because it's like a meme, And then people are like, yo, that might be not necessarily a good word. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's Jewboi. Low key now, I want to get big enough to where when you hear Jewboi, you don't think of that word. You're thinking of me as a personality. That's another reason that I sort of do that.
Flex.
Like you call someone a Jewboi and they're like, well, I don't upload videos.
By the way, this is a actual, I want to give you like,
sure.
You
can interrupt me. I go on tangents.
No, you have the floor. But a big focus of what I want to talk to you about today is, for so long, especially in American Jewish communities, Jewish people are always so defensive when it comes to the anti-Semitism. Like, oh my God, we need more police presence. Oy vey, the swastika.
Yeah.
When you lean into it, when you
victim mentality
up to it, when you're just like, yes, I'm a Jew, boy, I'm a Jew, do something about it. People are like, oh shit, okay, all right.
Exactly.
There's something, and it's so funny how when you just do that, like so many other people do, people tend to like you more. It's crazy.
They're like, you damn Jewboi. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a Jewboi. I like money and I'm rich and I run the world.
And they go, oh shit, he's kind of cool. Let's hang out.
I'm saying.
And then they hate you less because they're like, oh, he doesn't give a shit. He's not bothered by it. It works that way on an individual level. If you have somebody teasing you in school and you let it bother you, now you're giving them fuel. Some people are gonna listen to this and be, that's so insensitive. There's real anti-Semitism. You're diminishing it.
Older generation.
Listen. First of all, chill the fuck out. Second of all, most of the time, even if someone hates you, if you show them either you don't care or they are pretty confident they won't be able to physically bully you, they're not going to really be able to do anything.
Yeah.
So when they see you as a physically easy target and an emotionally easy target, that is usually when problems happen. If both of those issues are non-issues, or at least very small, minor issues, you're the anti-Semitic problem is a much smaller problem. Pride. Have big balls, put them on the table. Solves a lot of problems.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
I 1,000% agree with that. You're taking away the power from their words.
You make fun of it. You make a joke of it.
You own it. You make it with you. And then they lose their power. and then they have no choice but to just be like, okay, maybe you might be all right,
100%. Dude, I am such a Jewy Jew.
Nice.
And I have a buddy. I like the guy. He's a good dude. But he watches Nick Fuentes. Lives nearby in the area, not Jewish guy. And I decided instead of just being somebody who's just gonna cancel the guy and be like, oh, you're just another anti-Semite. I'm like, no, let me fucking talk to this dude. And every single thing he challenges me on, I have an answer for, and a good answer. And I stump him every time. And I'll show him Nick Fuentes contradicting himself and everything. And my buddy got to a point where he's like, dude, you should be really proud of yourself for doing this podcast because you make the Jews look good. Not in like not he has to say it like that. He's just like you got to keep doing what you're doing because you know what you're talking about and your voice is super important. And if I just canceled him, I wouldn't have gotten to this point. You
Yeah.
understand? And it's fair for him to ask questions. It's fair to him to bring. Oh, you said something I don't like. Shut up. It doesn't work. I could have killed a friendship or otherwise. And I'm also helping to educate this guy. Telling him all these things about Israel, all these things about Jewish people that he didn't know before. You know,
Right.
canceling isn't the move.
Although Nick Fuentes is a very funny guy. Those clips
Yeah.
are definitely entertaining,
Yeah.
which is like a part of the trap with it, where he'll draw you in with that, and then
You know,
before you know it, he's feeding a lot of not so
well,
nice
it's
information.
funny. What's that guy's Coleman Hughes? You know who Coleman Hughes is?
No
Okay,
clue.
he was on Joe Rogan. He has a channel called something with Coleman. He's really smart, very smart guy. Conservative, likes Israel, definitely the opposite of Fuentes. But he's so well thought out. And he said, this is Nick's whole spiel. When he's on podcasts like Tucker Carlson, he's super what do you call it?
He holds back the extremism and is
No, no,
more PR, I've noticed. And
yes,
then when,
it's
yeah,
exactly what it is. But when he's on his own show, he's just a
exactly.
loose cannon. He
Hmm.
just says anything. I like this. He's just crazy.
Yeah,
And he does that play because it's smart, because he's catering to the right audiences. Okay, well, I'm on Tucker Carlson's podcast. I can't say the crazy ass shit I say on my own thing. And I want people to think that what I'm saying on my own show was taken out of context. It wasn't really what I meant, because he wants to garner as much support as he possibly can. He
yeah.
wants to get people from every single corner, and it's working. But the reality, and I would have no problem talking to Fuente. Okay. I really wouldn't. I'm straight up. I feel so down to talk to him because I already know all of his talking points. I've listened to tons of his stuff to get an idea of what his whole thing is.
Honestly, I wouldn't even get more political with him. I'd honestly just want to have like a sit down,
Yes, I
go
wouldn't.
to dinner with him. That's just be like what's going
No, no.
through your head.
First of all, I'd be like, dude, we need to get you a girl, bro. I'd be like, not even a
This is what happens, when you get no girls for
yeah,
amount
no,
of
I'd
time.
say, I'd say, come on, be honest with me. I would tease him. I would definitely tease him. I'd have a good, like, I would joke with him, like, you know what I mean? And he'd say, oh, you're just, yeah, I don't need to get laid. I don't need these bitches. I don't need marriage. It's stupid.
Right.
Listen, you virgin. It's fine to be a virgin, but
Listen, he needs to expand the white race, and he's not doing it, or
he's,
at least in his case, the
well,
white
Mexican,
Mexican
white
race.
Mexican race.
Yeah.
But it's so dystopian, but I feel like I would be a frenemy, meaning I understand that he is a nut job who, if he became the president of the US, God forbid, wouldn't be surprised if he would try to God forbid, round up Jews into cattle cars. He's crazy.
Okay.
But I would challenge him. I'd be like, okay, so you get elected, God forbid. I would say that to his face. God forbid. I mean, it's not like he's a tough guy or anything. God forbid you get elected as president. What's happening? Are you getting cattle cars? I'm like, are you shipping me off to a camp? Do I get to work first? Are you just like putting me in the chambers? What are we doing? And I would straight up ask him, and he'd be like, no, no, you don't understand. I'm not looking to kill anyone. I'm tired of the Jews running everything, the porn. Okay. So got it. So I'm not doing any of those things. So what happens? Do I get to hide in an attic? Are
Right.
you sparing me? You killing me too? My offspring might get involved in that. What are we doing? What are we doing? And just stuff like that. And it's gonna come to a point where he's like, damn it, this guy, you know?
You know what's funny when whenever it's like the Jews thing, they always, they'll bring the Jews to the porn or this and that. Somehow it always ends up going back to the like religious Jew stereotype with like the long nose. And I just for me, like as an Orthodox religious person, right? Because obviously we shouldn't blame any Jews.
So we both tend to have pretty we not tend we both happen to have pretty solid noses though. So
Right? I have a decent schnoz.
no, no, not in
right?
a, not in a like you don't have a long
It's a
decent is
it's a fairly regular nose.
a normal
It's
nose.
a normal nose.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't have a tiny nose, but I don't have a
you got a great nose. I'm saying,
opposite speed.
very goyish nose.
You think?
I think, yeah. Well, you said, yeah.
It's no, but it's got a little length.
No, but
It doesn't
it
have the
fits.
bridge.
It fits. It's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. But oh yeah.
You can't make caricature. If they made a caricature, it would be like, yeah, whatever. I would.
Said, but oh yeah. So during COVID, right? Just to go back on that, during COVID, I started that TikTok page. I call it Jewboi. Yeah, I'm calling myself Jewboi. Whole situation. And I'm like, I'm gonna go viral. It's gonna be great. Yeah, I'm gonna have my face. It's gonna be a Jew, religious Chabad guy. He's gonna be online. And till now, there was like no one, no like you had like Mayor K, like those types of, but it wasn't as open, like full white button down yarmulke, obviously religious type of guy.
Mayor is awesome. I love Mayor's stuff. I haven't
great.
seen his stuff in a while, but I remember when he was like really big. He's still doing his thing.
Yeah,
But his stuff is amazing, very important. I love it. Yours is just more punch in the face kind of. It's yours is they're both needed now. It's all needed.
yeah.
But yours is so important to what we're doing right now. And
Thanks.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but just the punching back, it's so effective, dude.
You got to speak their language.
It's so effective. Like the one thing that's why like the stuff like Mark Levine is doing and dude, you don't have to like wage war. Meaning you wage war. Yes, I'm not saying to be a pushover. You be tough if you in whatever way you got. But this idea of just trying to shut people down, it doesn't do it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work on an individual level. It doesn't work on a group level, on a national level, racial level. It's not effective.
They fund, I mean, you got these Jewish funds or whatever. They'll give millions, tens of millions to fund these like stop anti-Semitism type of things, and they give the money and they're like, yay, we stopped anti-Semitism.
They laugh at it. The anti-Semites think it's ridiculous.
It is because it is ridiculous.
It
doesn't. Where's that money going? I mean, meanwhile, and I would argue that me making some stupid post,
going to galas that I'm not invited to.
I'm saying. Then I'd argue, meanwhile, that just me making a stupid video saying, yeah, we got kicked out of the countries, but we still run everything. Like, I would argue that probably solves anti-Semitism more than whatever self-glazing campaigns you do where you all go in a circle and say, yo, anti-Semitism's bad. And then we all go, yay! And then we all go home and some guy gets hate crime. Like that's, and that's, there's a bit of a separation of that with the older generation and the younger generation. Because when I first started, everyone, they're like, oh yeah, you're making Jews look bad. Meanwhile, I knew that people who aren't Jewish, I guess to give some context, like I was this religious guy posting videos, and all the religious people were looking at me like, no, that's not how you're blah, blah, blah. And non-Jews are going to think that we're weird because you're posting relatable videos to people who aren't Jewish, but they have to think that we're robots and that we're weird. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I go online, I say brain rot stuff. I say skibbity toilet, and everyone claps because it's hilarious. And then all the Jews are like, wait, why are they're like agreeing? They like your stuff? Okay. And when I first started, the principal of my yeshiva, he sends my videos to my father when I first start getting traction. And he said, yo, your son is doing this. He's posting his videos. My dad's like, yeah. Like, thank God. My parents were always supportive. Thank God, literally. Yeah. Then a few years later, after there's more Jews on social media and everyone realizes the power of social media, like he sends me an email and he's like, yo, it's me, like social media could have a good effect on people and it could you could get some traction. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, man. I'm like, wow, that's
I want to
great.
start doing it too.
Yeah, exactly. And then they all come over to you and they just start asking for like the advice, and I'll give them the
It always
advice.
works. That's how it always works with
Yeah,
anything. First they talk shit and then they want to get on
they
board.
thought I was crazy. They called me a madman, but I didn't even go viral right away. I mean, I posted like 3 to 5 times a day, 30 days, zero traction, no views. I went to my this is when I first started, and I remember going into the app store to uninstall TikTok. I was like, it probably won't work. And then one of the videos, like over Shabbos, just went viral. Like literally, as I went to like uninstall it, I saw that one of them went viral, and
What's
it
better? How
just
many views are we talking?
like 500,000.
Ooh,
And I was getting like 2,000 at a time.
ooh,
Just
shit.
yeah, and then that went viral, and it just snowballed.
Which one
And
was that? Because I must have seen it. That's
this actually, a lot of people probably don't know. I mean, it was so. I've had so many accounts on TikTok. That's where I started before Instagram. I've been banned on there over 9 times. I mean, we could get into that. And it was never my fault, you know. But it was like some
it was
story
a group
time.
of rabbis. It was a cabal of rabbis just canceling you. You need
Yeah,
to cancel him. We can't
yeah.
have this.
I'm saying the Jews, yeah, the Jews got rid of the Jews. I'm saying, like, what am I supposed to? They got the whole, they got like everyone's saying Jews run the media. I guess I'm not a part of that club, you know. Like none of them are.
I know, dude.
I'm
I
trying to
know.
join that club. Like, where's my $7,000 paycheck? You know, I'm trying to. But so I that video goes viral, and then over like a few months, I like grew it to a few 100,000. And it mainly happened because I would just post videos not even related to Judaism, completely separate, unrelated. And I remember actually the first comment I ever got, ever on social, like me showing my face, the first ever comment I ever got, it said "Free Palestine." This is 2020, right? For everything, like obviously
Before
it's just
October
going
7th.
on, but before October 7th. And I'll be honest, I was like, what is, I don't even know what that means. I was not remotely educated. I knew that there's stuff going on Middle East,
Yeah.
but I was like 16, which arguably, if you're Jewish, you should know, but I just did not know. And then I Google and I'm like, oh, he's saying it because I'm Jewish. Oh, that's interesting. But I just didn't remotely care. Hate comments do not remotely affect me
Oh, it was
whatsoever.
something along the lines of like killing, and then you're like, I'm from fucking Ohio. Wasn't that the one?
So that was a while later. I already had some traction. I was
It
posting
was,
videos. It was going
dude, when I
viral.
saw that, I saw your keeping your beard and you just dropped the F bomb. I lost it, bro. I was cracking up.
Thanks.
I'm from fucking Ohio, and I was dying, dude.
So I made a video. It was this whole chain of first it was things we no longer kill, and it looked like it was going to be a video of like things we no longer kill, but then it was just me standing there because I'm Jewish, and the joke was, that I'm just we no longer kill Jews. And then a guy just cuts in the middle, he stitches the video, and he says, but when it comes to Palestinians, you have no issue killing us. And I'm like,
Right.
and then I say I'm from fucking Ohio. And then, yeah, obviously it did very well. I mean, still my most viewed video ever. It got like 50 million views. I mean,
50
50
million?
million. And I've reposted it. It probably has over 100 million views, like overall through all the reposts.
Easy, dude.
Because it resonated with everyone. Obviously, it resonated with Jews who are just like sick of just being yelled at, but also just a lot of people who aren't Jewish, or they were just sick of bringing it up in every possible context,
Right.
and especially I like this Jewish guy who I am from Ohio. I'm born and raised from Ohio. I'm a Ohioan Jew, and it just was so out of left field, and that was raw emotion. Like that was literally like I'm fucking Ohio, and it did very well, and obviously became a staple in my TikToks. So, yeah.
It was amazing, dude. I got such a kick out of it. Oh my God, dude. So what what are some other things maybe we can do? What do you think? I mean, just throwing it at the wall here. I think we covered obviously combating it with comedy and things like that. I mean, do you think that's the best way?
I think that I mean, this is a bit more. I have a more doomsday mentality when it comes to anti-Semitism, where I think it's always going to exist,
Yeah.
and it will come in waves. I think we're in a stronger wave now. I think the internet as a whole is entering sort of another edgy era, sort of like back in 2015, where people were just saying
By
whatever.
the way, I actually love it. Meaning,
It's
I don't like the anti-Semitism
right.
part of it, of course, but I love how fucking like
Instagram comment sections are
no,
ruthless.
because with my friends, whether they're Jewish or not, I'll be fucking straight up. I'm racist, like to with my between friends. Like I'll have a Dominican friend, black friend, Jewish friend, and I'll fucking be super out of pocket.
Right.
And they'll do that with me because that's how you really develop
It's
real
boys being, I mean,
like
it's
when
yeah.
you're in the military, it doesn't matter what military you're in. There's no filter. Anyone who's in the U.S. military, listening to this, whether they're in the Marines or the U.S. military, that is where all the political correctness goes out the window. And you develop such a strong bond. Why? Because what you see is what you get. There's no blanket over people. It's raw, it's real. And you can start to really build these real friendships. And it sounds counterintuitive. It's like, but that's so crass, that's so rude, everyone's so disgusting. It's like that's what humans are, though. It's not that people are suddenly becoming more disgusting. It's that now people are being who they actually are behind closed doors. And there are some people that are never going to like that. But the reality is when you this political correctness, all it does is it doesn't get rid of it. It just puts it somewhere underground or somewhere quiet, but it's still fucking happening in people's living rooms. It's happening in locker rooms. It's happening at stadiums. It's happening everywhere. So when you don't suppress it so much, you actually allow for it to breathe a little, and it eventually it gets kind of worn out,
Yeah.
and then it settles.
Hmm.
It has when you control it too much, it's like this. It's like with parenting, right? You give your kid a rule, and you say under no circumstances, and you're so controlling and so suppressive. What often happens with a kid? The kid says, "Oh, you don't want me to press the big red button. I wonder what happens if I press the big red button." And they press the big red button 50 fucking times. And you're like, I told you not to do that. It's like, if you were able to communicate properly and you were able to give your kid a little bit of leeway, no, again, depends on the parent, depends on the kid. I'm not telling everyone to parent a certain way. But it's very understandable that when you force somebody to do something too much one way, natural behavioral response is to be at the very least curious of what's on the other side.
Yeah.
And so if you allow for a level of freedom, people say, okay, well, you know what? I had my fun. It's cool. I'm glad I can do it. I'm glad I can speak my mind. Cool. I had my fix.
It comes in waves. I mean, because you've seen a similar thing that's happening now. It happened in 2015, where everything was just haywire. Everyone's saying slurs, like it was really edgy, and then it followed up with with a big cancellation, cancel culture movement, and now we're sort of entering like almost another edgy era. And this time there's a lot of Jewishness involved and blah blah blah. Almost because people feel it was almost like people felt that it was so taboo to talk about that it built up over the years. Now everyone's letting it off their chest, the Jews. And I personally think I do think it will die down in that
Yeah,
way.
but it'll also die down a lot faster
Yeah.
if we all just laugh about it. Meaning, when I say laugh about it again, I don't mean to not acknowledge that it could be very destructive. There's a difference between somebody saying, "Oh, big noses," posting those like gifs of like those noses on legs dancing and all these different like things. It's hilarious. Who gives a shit? So our noses are big. Okay, fuck. Why are our noses big? Because we have Middle Eastern DNA. Where do you think the long noses come from? Who cares, dude? You're so worked up about people make. All right, big deal. Yes, if Bob in Minnesota starts saying, "I want to kill Jews," yes, then we got to deal with it. That's a legitimate threat. Well, we're going to start every single person that posts a nose GIF. We're going to be like, oh my God. So you're going to get rid of the juice emoji and they're going to come up with another emoji. Like, what are you going to
Yeah.
keep banning emojis? And what are you like? Come on, it's dumb.
You have to almost go in the lines then. Like you got to speak their language. And often people will say, don't stoop to their level, don't engage with it. But when you don't engage with it, it just brews and gets
You
stronger and
got to
stronger.
attack it head on, man. That's the best way to do it. You make fun of them. They make fun of you. You make fun of them. If someone's going to
Yeah.
make fun of my culture, I'll tease them about their culture. And if they don't like it, I'll say, oh, you could dish it, but you can't take it, huh?
Yeah.
And you make fun of them. Tal is fantastic with that, by the way. Not just Tal, a couple of people amazing. Tal's great. This guy, Kahati Jewish Dawa is great. Talia, I don't know if you know, it's Talia.
No,
Then there's Sahar does a great job with.
I know Sahar.
There's a bunch of people that do a fantastic job just throwing it back. And what often happens on like Omi TV is these people literally they cancel, meaning they
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 skip.
exit, they skip
Yeah.
because they can't handle the heat, and they're like, "Holy shit, this guy knows how to fucking verbally." go to toe to toe with me, even not, more so, kicking my ass. And it's fantastic. And we need to see more of that shit.
I used to go on Omegle like when I was first starting like my YouTube channel, which was a bit after TikTok, and well, I wouldn't even go on there to debate. I go on there just for funny moments because I was just trying to make funny moments. It was crazy, man. I mean, because I was openly just dressed full Jewish guy. I've never been. If you want to humble yourself, want to truly get humbled, go on Omegle and just go from person and just let them, bro. Like after the amount of shit people would say to me on there, it was disgusting. I can't say what they were saying to me, man. And I made a lot of good, funny content, but the amount of people that were like wishing me dead to my face, and I'm like, oh, interesting. You know, I just don't care personally. Like
Yeah,
it just doesn't.
you're not
It
gonna.
never has affected me for some weird reason. The hate comments, the I do not care. Like I just pity the people that comment. I'm like, wow, like you got to be at a level to comment that sort of thing to
Yeah,
a stranger online.
and
I mean,
most of them are super low IQ, dude. Most
yeah,
of them are super low IQ. It's just, but when you actually sit and have a conversation with them, from what I've seen, because I don't do these Omi TV things. Quite frankly, I don't really want to. But
it's
they're
not fun.
super fun to enter. They're fun. Like I'll watch some of Tal's, and they're entertaining as hell. Like he'll talk to Nazis.
Yeah,
In the beginning, they'll start saluting him. They'll do the Nazi salute, and at the end of it, he's making fun of them so badly, and it's beautiful. It's
yeah,
a blast. I have a blast watching it. And so I think that's the best way to do it, man. I
yeah.
think there's a lot of things, and I also say that I'm a big proponent of this. This is related, but slightly off topic. No, I would say it's very related. I think all Jewish schools, whether they're ultra Orthodox, modern, conservative, Reform, Sephardic, Ashkenazi, a mix, doesn't matter what kind of Jewish school it is, all Jewish schools should be required by the communities, by the rabbis, to teach some kind of martial arts, at least for a certain number of years, to give your kids a certain level of confidence when they're walking in the street, to carry yourself a certain way. That would mitigate, in my opinion, a lot of the problems. It's not to say that, people say, oh, well, the anti-Semitism, da da da. If somebody hates you, but they are not willing to face you because they know that you can defend yourself, I don't care if you hate me. Fucking hate me all you want. But if you can't do anything to me, right, go hate me. Fucking knock yourself out.
Everyone's tough.
After your 9 to 5, you want to spend 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. sitting and hating me? Well, say love you, dude.
Everyone's tough until they get punched in the face. And yeah, no, Jews should definitely learn how to protect themselves. I want to train like MMA. I've been thinking about it a lot recently
It should be
because
a standard, man.
I've never learned any. I did a karate class when I was 9 for like a month and a half, and then I quit because I got lazy. That's
Hmm.
probably the most fighting skills that I have, and yeah, at this point, it's like no, I want to actually just in general. I mean, it's good to know that that if you have just the basic training that you can pretty much hold your own against anyone in
Dude,
public.
if
Cats.
you made from the time the kids were in like first to fifth or first to sixth grade, especially if Jewish schools were super serious about this and they were teaching their students martial arts from the time they were little kids up until they were in high school, you imagine just almost every Jewish young kid was good, not just good at self-defense. You literally had full Jewish communities who knew how to defend themselves. Totally different world.
But you don't
We live
need
in a
to
different reality.
because they learn Torah. Because they learn Torah and that protects us. And it's and that's what's most important.
Yeah, well,
Or
it's well,
something
if you
like
want to be
that.
an idiot, be an idiot. And no, I'm not saying Torah. Listen, Torah is a beautiful thing. Learn it. But if you think it's going to avoid you, it's going to protect you from getting punched in the face, you're an
You just
idiot.
gotta learn it really hard, you know? Like
Well, if you put the book in front of your face, I mean,
maybe.
maybe it'll
Actually, I
block the
heard one
punch.
story where like someone like got shot, but they had like
There's tons of those
there's a lot
stories.
of those stories. It's a lot of stories, just saying.
Yeah, well, there's quite a few, but I'm sure they're not enough. We can't rely on those stories.
That's true.
Hey, man, this is my take. And
Sure.
quite frankly, people are going to disagree. That's their
I
prerogative.
think in general, people should know how to protect themselves.
I just don't see why it's such a far-fetched idea. I don't see why it's so crazy. It's not like I'm not trying to create militias. It's just take some jujitsu, take some karate, take whatever your heart desires. Have some classes in the school. It's so weird how it's such a foreign thing, but I think it would make a huge difference.
Right.
You know, that's why I'm a big fan of what Natan Levy's doing, because he's really trying to get that.
I was supposed to go to his he has like a place in Vegas where he trains, and
Mhm.
I was supposed to like meet up with him and train with him and do like a whole content situation. It just never ended up happening. But he was in Miami recently, so I got to meet him, and it was yeah, he's a great guy. I mean,
I met him when you met him.
right, right. No, but before we were like texting a bunch beforehand, like, yo, I need a like, yo, come train, man. You know, be just regardless, it'd be good
But
content.
just
But
imagine how you would feel if you were like 5 to 10 years into a martial art. Think about the confidence you'd have.
oh yeah, I mean, you could physically do things, you know, to anyone. I mean, it's yeah,
It
it's
feels so
next
awesome,
level.
man. It'd be
Yeah,
such a good feeling, you know? It's
for
just
sure.
it's not even about wanting to get into those predicaments. It's about just having a sense of confidence,
Yeah,
you know? So that's what I think is super important. I would say that's even more important than all this content.
right.
So, is there anything else you wanted to share? So, anything on your mind that you wanted to cover in particular?
Honestly, I think the best way to stop anti-Semitism, quote unquote, it's always going to exist. It will always be bad. There will always be people that want to kill us and just don't want us to exist anymore. People like I'll get young guys in my DMs, and like they'll like young Jewish guys, and they'll ask me, not gonna be, they'll ask me like, yo, I'm like in school, I'm in public school, I'm Jewish, you know, like what's the best way to, you know, like people are saying mean things to them because they're Jewish. Like, how do you deal with it, or just how in general do you deal with it? And besides, obviously, learning how to protect yourself, like this is it's actually it's more of a pessimistic answer. You really just you got to thug it out and you got to get successful and you got to learn how to fight. Those are the
Yeah.
only yeah, because you could try to debate. These guys don't want to debate with you. Like you make jokes, you could yell whatever, and it's fine. But for me, from what I've seen online, the more you whine about it, the more you complain, the more you make yourself a victim, the louder that they'll get at you, and the more that they'll hate you. And if you literally thug it out and continue being you, as well as just making light of the situation, making jokes, whatever. All the old Jews will be like, nah, yeah, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, though, just it takes away their power, as what we were saying before.
It's really a respect, meaning when you have somebody that hates you, but they can't help but to respect you,
Yeah,
there then comes this weird love in it. And I've seen it on more than one occasion since I've done my podcast where people have reached out to me. There's one guy in particular, this Lebanese guy, and said still has continued to say so many bad things against Israel. And I just bust the dude's balls. And we've developed this weird, odd frenemyship.
right.
We're like, he annoys the shit out of me, but I kind of look at him as like this annoying little brother. And in my head, it's like, I don't really take him seriously, but at the same time, we have like this weird friendship where it's like, do I trust him? But I could almost, it's so strange, but everything I'm saying, I've put into practice and I've seen it's very fruitful. It's so effective. Versus if I would have just been like, you're an evil anti-Semite, he would have been like, oh, what a
Classic oy vey
classic
too.
oy veying me
Always
up.
finding, always the victim.
But
Yeah,
but in this predicament, he's like, you know what, man, I kind of like this guy. I kind of like this Jewish dude. And it's not because I need the guy to like. I don't give a shit if he likes me. I don't
yeah,
give a shit if this kid likes me. But it's just because I'm willing to actually give the dude the time of day and counter his arguments and and treat him like a human being. He's like, oh, you know what, this guy's not so bad,
yeah.
you know? And if that happened on a collective level, we'd see a lot of differences. Like, but humans really do want to connect, and sometimes we have such an issue doing it, we stop ourselves. Whereas if we knew how to do it properly, humans could get along a lot better than they actually do,
1,000%.
you know? And
Yeah.
so, I'll make you anti-Semites like me. Don't worry about it. I'll
Oh
make it
yeah.
happen, whether you like it or not. So, this has been a wrap. This has been an amazing episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.
I very much enjoyed all this. Thank you for having me, man. I mean,
Yeah, dude, it's been a pleasure. I like it, dude. I love having conversations with people who are just such natural conversationalists because I
sure.
forget that I'm even sitting here recording everything.
Nice. I remember I like had a podcast a while ago, so I almost like learned like the podcast like things almost. But yeah, it's been an honor, man, honestly.
Oh, dude, I'm so happy. That's an honor for you to say that, for me to
For
hear that.
sure.
I
You're not too bad. You're not too
all
bad.
right,
Yeah.
all right. I
And your
appreciate it.
nose is all right.
All right, all right,
It's
dude.
all right. It's all
You're
right.
saying it wouldn't make the best water slide, but it's not too bad. Because if it had a big bridge, it might have been
Right. It's a decent schnoz.
nice, man.
Almost as good as
Nice.
mine.
Leave your
Almost.
comment, leave your thoughts in the comments, 1 to 10, rate my schnoz, and we'll go from there. I'll make sure to comment. Ladies and gents, thank you for joining me on another episode of the Student Semantics podcast. I'm your host, Rafi Pinsky. And make sure, of course, to follow Mr. Tzvi Jewboi on all of his social media accounts. Go follow his crazy content. Follow me at Rafi the Realtor on Instagram, Soothing Semantics on Instagram. I have to post on TikTok, Twitter. I really don't post there.
Yeah. No, yeah. You
Yeah,
get
I
get
definitely
one.
should do that. And I will hopefully have you guys tune into the next episode. Peace.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, bro.